It's time to answer the question that no one has ever asked, but we needed the answer. And that question is, what was the original Fightoff 2 supposed to look like? That's what I will be answering today. So the episode starts off with basically just the elimination. Everybody started screaming and Tyler got angry at them. Then he started screaming too. And then, yeah. So basically, there was a total of 24 votes, which doesn't even make sense because in episode 2's voting, there was 24 votes, which means some comments and votes were deleted. That's 3 of them. So that means... And somehow, Popsicle Man was safe with 6 votes instead of 7. And then the next safe was Alex and Timmy with 4 votes. That stays the same. Then Emma is safe with 4 votes, 2 for some reason. And then the bottom 2 was Jackson and Jake, tied with 3 votes. So that means many votes were switched around. They were like rigged. Somehow, they both got 3 votes. But Jake, who am I making up? Jake was the bottom 2 with 1 vote and he got eliminated. I don't know how that even happened, that it was 2 things. But then I can show you an image of the elimination. It was only a storyboard though. So yeah, here it is. Next, the same thing with Anthony and Tyler happened. It was just way worse. Anthony somehow had to make Tyler be recovered. So yeah, and then it was supposed to show more of the recovery center. And then yeah, next challenge. So basically, it's the same challenge. It was the exact same challenge. Tyler says he's gonna help the bodyguards with something, and he was gonna have a challenge. So the challenge was to do the same exact thing, but yeah. And then DJ David, Jackson, and Emma still teamed up in the same team. So did Timmy and me, or Timmy and Wesley, which is me. So and then Anthony also only worked with himself. He didn't work with anyone. Then Alex worked with the aliens, too. So basically, Popsicle Man actually competed this challenge. He went solo, though. And Rachel also went solo. Jake was still eliminated anyways, so... and they also teamed up before he announced the challenge, so they didn't know why they were joining each other. So, yeah. Then Emma, DJ David, and Jackson weren't gonna build what they build? Weren't gonna build a store, and they weren't gonna steal Alex's arm. They actually built a museum, and then Wesley and Timmy, we didn't fall asleep. We actually built an arcade, and then Anthony built a robot factory, but he didn't build. Wait, what did he? Did he build anything? Yeah, he built a Storm Thing store from me, Wesley. So yeah. Popsicle Man was gonna build a dessert restaurant, and yeah. So and then Jeff, Benny, and Alex, we're gonna build a planetarium. So. This episode could have been cooler. It was originally supposed to be planned at 22 minutes. And yes, this voice is not edited, so you're just going to have to hope that you could understand my voice. It might be very boring, but if you really want to figure out what the original Fightoff 2 is supposed to be like, you're just going to have to listen to me with no editing. So basically, Rachel was arguing with Jackson. I don't think I swear they said a flattened football is Rachel's hair still. but Jackson said it, but I don't know. Okay, so basically, to build the arcade, Wesley and Timmy were going to melt the swords. And then they were going to make Anthony mad since he has, like, firearms, if you didn't know. But he was going to use, like, Anthony's firearms to melt the swords to make metal. And then Wesley taunted Anthony with, "I'm so happy, I have a bunch of metal," and Jake's eliminated. And then Anthony got angry, and then Anthony started chasing us down, and I'm pretty sure so basically they were going to go across a cliff, so me and Timmy jumped over it, which this could have been actually really cool of this episode. Just bad things happen, and yeah, Anthony falls down the cliff into a river, and yeah. Then they were gonna build like a Then they're gonna to get the white paint for the museum. I don't know why they need white paint. And stone. For Jackson, Emma, and DJ David, they were going to fling they're gonna make the aliens fling them to Chicago. If you didn't know, that's where Emma canonically lives. If it was already said in the Fightoff 1, if there was like a map showing where people were, and you could see that like where Chicago was, it was already green, so that means they were already there. And then Popsicle Man was gonna get all the desserts. He was gonna order an oven. He was gonna dial a number. I don't want to say the number because it's gonna be it might think it's a real number, so I'm not gonna say the number. He was gonna order oven and countertops, and he was gonna. Okay, and then it was $175, and Popsicle Man only had $102. I don't know where he got that from. So he had to find $73. And Popsicle Man went to DJ David because he knew he was popular, and he stole money from DJ David. And then, yeah, DJ David wasn't really mad. He was like, "I'll get my money in the future." Then there was 4 hours left. And then Emma and Jackson land in Michigan. So they don't know where they are, so they're going to ask people. And they were going to ask for a map, too, to find Chicago. I kind of forgot where Michigan is. It's at the top of the United States somewhere. You could check the map of the Fightoff 1. You'll be able to tell. Then the aliens are going to need a projector, obviously, because it's a planetarium, so they're going to need a building and a projector. I don't know if they originally called Alex's sister, but I don't think they did. So Jeff was going to get the stone. He was going to dig in the ground. Benny was going to get the wood, and he was going to go to the forest. And Alex was going to go get the projector. I don't know where he got it, but he went somewhere. Jeff meets with DJ David, and they had the same thought. They were both getting stone. And then, apparently, I don't know if they fought, but it looked like it. But Popsicle Man's delivery was going to deliver in about an hour when they had 4 hours left, I think. So Popsicle Man was going to go look for the swords, and then he realized there were no swords because me and Timmy already took them. I don't know how many times I have to say this, but I'm Wesley, but me and Timmy took them. And then Popsicle Man says they were here a month ago. Yeah, a month ago. Imagine if it was a month ago, because it was supposed to take place on June 10th, because that was the original release date. But that never happened because of all the drama. Maybe after all of this, at the end of the video, when I'm done explaining all of the script, I might actually I might explain why this was delayed, but I'm pretty sure all of you know. But anyways, Jake realizes that Anthony's dead, so he recovers him. And then me and Timmy already have melted the metal and made the building and made the games, like arcade games and computer chips. And then Timmy gets the games to the turbine, and then Jackson and them finally take the map. I don't know why they took didn't take the map before. And then they are in Indiana, and after walking for a while. I don't think Chicago is 200 feet away from Indiana. I don't know what I'm talking about, but that's what it says in the script. And then Emma is gonna get the paint. And also, this episode would have been so good if it was still this. And then DJ David wonders where the stone is, and then Jeff has it, and then DJ David runs to get it, and then he trips, and then he gets the stones. Oh, no, I misread that. DJ David trips Jeff and grabs the stone, and then Jeff then digs for the stone. For some reason, Alex transforms his arm into a buzzsaw. I don't even know if that was supposed to be able to happen. And then, since Anthony's a robot, he has a projector. And then Alex, grabs his head and uses it as a projector. Very weird, but Benny gets wood. There's no aspers, and then they found a forest, and then Pop's command's deep in the ground, and so is Jeff. So then they meet each other under the ground. This is where the original thumbnail took place. I'll put it on screen in a second. Here it is. That's the thumbnail, but also I forgot to show you this. That was supposed to be in the start of the episode. And then Jeff and Pop's command find each other in the ground after digging, and then it switches to Emma, where she gets the paint, and then somehow Jackson finds a giant trampoline, so they jump onto it and they launch back to Antares. That's the planet name. It wasn't the name before. It was only named in episode 3, at the start of episode 3. And then they were going to start building. DJ David, Emma, and Jackson, they were going to start building. And then Benny finds some trees, and he cuts them down. And then Benny meets with Alex, and then they got the wood and the projector, Alex and Benny. And then Jake noticed Anthony is dead again, so he recovers him. And then Popsicle and Jeff have an argument. They were telling, get out of the digging hole. And then Popsicle Man finds some swords. I don't know where he found them. And then Jeff finds the stone, and he finds a bunch of stone. And then they go back to the Sick Man Bunch, and they were the first to finish. Then Anthony, and he says he was going to sabotage, and he was going to try and take the wood that Benny was carving. And he said, and then he took it. I don't know why everything is capitalized at this, every single letter at the start of a sentence is capitalized for some reason. And then Benny throws a piece of wood at Anthony's face, putting another dent, at the thing, like in episode 1. What did Alex do to make a dent? Oh yeah, he dodged Anthony's attack, and Anthony went kill. But I think you all know that. And Alex and Anthony fight again. With literally what I was about to talk about. It happened last episode, the Alex and Anthony fight. And then Jeff comes out of the ground under Anthony, and Anthony gets hit with a shovel and he goes flying away. Popsicle Man gets his delivery, and it's been about 30 minutes. So he's going to go go check on the, sell the sword. I don't know why he needs the sword. I guess he's pretty smart for using the sword and sell it. Popsicle Man now has enough money. I don't know why he didn't pay online, but I don't know. And then Jackson gets all of the Jackson, Emma, and DJ David get everything but the art. So then Emma grabs some of her art from episode 1. Jackson taped a pretzel to a wall, which is a reference to the banana taped to a wall, which was popular at the time. So DJ David makes sculptures and puts them down, and then they finish. And then there's 3 hours left. Popsicle Man gets the tiles, and then Anthony is hallucinating. That is what this soundtrack is from. I could show you in a second. And yeah, this video is very long. I gotta continue. No wasting time. So Anthony gets hallucinations, I said, and then the hallucinations are trying to convince you that nobody likes him, and yeah. And then this is where Anthony's crash out is, and it's weird, but it's very weirdly annoying, it would seem. And then yeah. And then Anthony punches the thing, and then the hallucination calls him AI, and then Anthony gets angry about that, and then yeah. Anthony is in a white void, causing him to automatically lose. Popsicle Man gets his counters and oven, and then he forgot to get tables and chairs, and then he found an AI generator. That is very close to the Fightoff 2 originally, where Alex had a generator on his arm, and then that's convenient. He says he got table and chairs, and because it generated it very quickly. And the aliens finished their planetarium, and then Jeff was keeping track of time because there's 2 hours and 33 minutes left. Popsicle Man says he's the last one working. Technically no, because I'm pretty sure Rachel and Anthony are still working. And then Anthony's talking with the hallucination again, and the hallucination says you're not going to go back until 2 hours. And then Popsicle Man built the freezer for the cold things, and then he was cast to find. He went to Jeff to find what could freeze it. So he walks up to Jeff and melt him so he could go and use his cold body to put it in the freezer and make the freezer cold. And then Jeff does it over and over. And then there was a door on the floor that Popsicle Man can need to leave the cold in. And then 2 hours are left. And then 1 hour is left. And then it's now 30 minutes left because Anthony is still in that white void. And Anthony still hasn't voted yet. And then Tyler's like, what the heck? How have you not finished? And then we finally get to see what Rachel did. And this actually happened in the Fightoff 2 originally anyways, because there was an oven in Rachel's hair salon still, and she kicked it and it burned down. And then Tyler rates the things, and then the people who are up for elimination are... Oh, wait, hold on. Who is up for elimination? Oh, up for elimination. Emma, Jackson, DJ David, Rachel, and Anthony are all up for elimination, which... That isn't 6 people, that's 5, so... Yeah. That is it. I don't have enough time to show you who's up for elimination, but then show you why it got delayed so much. But at the end of the episode, DJ, David, and Jackson tried to escape, and that is it.